Wow, I'm proud of you for being here. You are here because you either read something in the gradebook that said to add more detail to the Scrum process in our Trello boards. Hey, you're here. Awesome. Or you're here just because you forgot how to do something and you need to get a refresher. So, what I'm going to do is first off, let's take a look at activating the things we need to work with in Trello. Now, you can access Trello in any web browser. But if you want to activate the numbers that your team did with the Fibonacci cards, you have to install an add-on by clicking over here, and you are looking for Scrum for Trello. And you find it, click on it, add it to Firefox, you click Add, and then you click here and click OK. And now it's there. Now, when I go back, this is what we want. What this means is that when I click in here and I click up by the title and wait, you get a row. Now you want to select only from this top row. This is your estimating when your team takes the Fibonacci cards and looks at how complex a task is from 1 to infinity. We are using up to 1 to 21. 1 would be one person working 5 to 10 minutes. And a 21 would be your whole team working together for a day or two potentially. I mean, a really big kind of thing. So again, we're not estimating time, we're estimating time plus complexity of the material. Either it's a very deep task that takes a lot of energy to do, or it might take time, or it may take a lot of people. So again, we're learning this process in our teams. So to activate that, that's that. If you're on a Chromebook and you're not seeing those numbers, that's fine. When you click on the title here, you can see you could actually just type it in like that. Just put the bracket number and then the bracket and the space, and it will then activate next time you're on Firefox. So here we are. That's the first thing. Now, how do I add more stuff to a card? Well, first off, I can add a card, and I like to have a verb and a noun. And here's why. Or just think, start with a verb, because you want to have action implied. Do this, organize that. Things like this. That's the kind of stuff that helps your brain get jumped into the process. And the next thing, you can write a description if you want, but you don't need to. Now, a task should be 2 to 5 minutes. If you want to get really good at this, you should break bigger projects, bigger tasks into smaller tasks. If the task is so small that you think to yourself, well, sure, I could just do this right now, you've arrived. That is how small you want to get it to. This helps the paralysis of inaction from being overwhelmed by too many things. If you have a big task like write a paper, that's overwhelming. Like, where do you start? A smaller task might mean open the Chromebook, create the file, title the file. These are things that seem really simple. Like, well, I can just do that. Or write a sentence, write the topic sentence, write 4 sentences, write a follow-up sentence, write 3 paragraphs. All of these things are things that you can take and break down into smaller chunks. If you write like 3 paragraphs, you would break that down into write 3 topic sentences. Okay, that might take just a few minutes. Then add 1 level of detail to each one of those topic sentences, and so on and so forth. You're gamifying this. Okay, now let's get to the good stuff about how Trello works. So when you do this, you can build a card, but let's say this is organize something, and it might take a while to organize it. You have to do some research and things. You could make 1 card and add in a checklist. This counts. So you can call it whatever you want or just leave it checklist. And what you do is you type thing. So these tasks, again, are 2 to 5 minutes, each one of these. So if this thing was research film shots, or research level design, or research different audio examples for mixing something, that's going to take time. So you could say research YouTube, look at resources in the classroom, and so on and so forth. And you can even break those down, even smaller. But this would work. And then when we look at the card, we see there's 3 tasks inside there. So if I tell you I want at least a dozen tasks, now think about it. If you're working for numerous weeks on a project, there should be hundreds of tasks. If we really break these things down, 1 hour a day and so on. So what I'm asking you to do is get used to breaking big things down into little things. And again, you can make a card and have lots of tasks built into the checklist, or you can make a lot of cards. It's up to you. If you have a card that has a lot of checklist tasks inside it, it's probably going to have a bigger Fibonacci number. So that's just something to think about. Now let's take a look at a couple more things that we need to know. So first off, if you are in the film class or you're using a pre-built board that has a backlog for each job. So this is something I put together from the IB film literature, and all uppercase means it's a tangible thing you need to show. And then we have resources and stuff that when you click on it, it may have links or other resources inside the card. And some do, some don't. But that's something that you can take a look at and dig into the cards and see what's there. But how this works is we need to create a backlog of all the individuals' backlogs. So how do you create a column? Well, if you scroll all the way to the right, you can call, in this case, I'm doing an example of current backlog. This is all the stuff that your team thinks you can do. And now I just drag it over, and I'm going to put this right here. Now, each member of the team would then drag cards that they think they can accomplish in the 3-week Scrum. And we call it a Scrum. It's a sprint or Scrum, depending on who you talk to. But it's 3 weeks, a team of 3 to 5 people working over 3 weeks to get something done. So you drag everything in that you think you can do. Then you Fibonacci number all of these tasks. Oh, and you prioritize them first. So prioritize them kind of in order that makes sense. Then Fibonacci number them. Now, all this takes time and communication. So your team has to really kind of spend time and focus and communicate on this stuff. Once you're done with that, you're going to realize there's some things in here that are just way too big, or you're probably not going to get done within the 3 weeks. So what you do is you drag everything into the current sprint or Scrum column that you think you can accomplish in the 3 weeks, and leave things in the backlog that you don't think you're going to get to. Now, if you're ahead of schedule, you might be able to go back and grab one of those. But here's the thing. You've already agreed as a team on how complex these things are. You've already prioritized these things as a team, so you don't have to go back to that. It should just be that simple. Okay? So the backlog is really helpful from featureitis of adding in too many things later in the development process, which is a real problem for some team members. So anyway, you're back here. You've got all your stuff in this column. And then each day, you put things in the in progress column and you work on them. So when you do your stand-up meeting for 90 seconds, you're seeing what's in here. Did things get done? Put them in the done column. And anything else you want to add into the in progress column, you do that. And then you update the numbers that are at the top here on your burn down chart. And you basically subtract whatever you put into the done column, you subtract the total number from your column number on the burn down chart. And hopefully this makes sense. Again, when you're in class, that should make sense. Okay, lastly, I want to show you something that is a problem and that you can solve. So if you take a look here, you'll see all these numbers here are not turning into little blue boxes. How you fix that, and this is an example from a team, you zoom all the way out with Command minus on a Mac, and on a Chromebook, I think it's Control minus. It's either Control Option or Command on a Chromebook. But you zoom all the way out, refresh the page, and then we zoom back in. If you do Command 0, it takes you right back to the top thing. Now you can see, now that number went from what it was before now to 241, and all of them are activated. So this team did a really nice job of breaking things down in their backlog. They have current stuff that they're working on, and it looks like they're going to keep moving things in. And then this is stuff that's being worked on, and then you have the done column. So their total number would probably be these 3 numbers added up is what they started with that they think they can get accomplished. But, they might add more things in. So anyway, wanted to show you a few things about how to get Trello to work with your Firefox and to get these numbers, the Scrum for Trello plugin to work, how adding detail to cards is desired for a team. You want the granularity of something like this. You should have quite a few things built in here. And last comment, professional organizations use tools like Trello because you have people working remotely, you have people all over the world that are trying to collaborate together. And think of it, our classroom is the same thing. You have people who are not in a class on a regular basis or gone or sick or something. You can reach out and take a look and see what your team's doing and practice these tools so that you're one step closer to being ready for the world of work. And you'll have more experience with a collaborative tool like Trello. All right, well, hey, nice job. You paid attention this long. You have a good rest of your day.